Hello, hello, hello. Blessings to everyone. Wow, you all sneaked up on me. Hello, Dottie Lewis. Hello, Apostle Miles. Hey, Annette. Great morning to you, dear. Uh, so glad you all are here. Please like and share. Just like and share, especially for those that you know um, that may have high blood pressure or may be concerned about high blood pressure and or have diabetes, because diabetes and high blood pressure, they're Siamese twins. And so those people, we want them to be present today, especially since we're going on another fast. Aha! We're going on another fast. It's going to be 7 days, and we probably have, we might have 5 weeks before. The fast is going to be in March. It's going to be in March, so we're going to start talking about preparing for the fast, and we're going to get that 1 week. Remember that we prepare for as many days as we fast before we fast. And so, there are so many different facets and so many different healings and so many different adjustments that happen during the fast, so many different protections, protective measures, and readjustments that are made to the body during the fast. You'll find out about one today um, while we're talking about this high blood pressure. And so you definitely do not want to miss the fast. Now, if you're on medication and you have a disorder that you need to let me say this way: you want to fast, but you're on medication and you have a condition. What we will do is if you reach out to us, if you reach out and you say you want to go on the fast, but you have these now don't wait until 3 days before the fast. Don't wait until 3 days before the fast. Don't wait until the day before the fast. 2 weeks before the fast, reach out to me, because there is a process that you, as someone who is on medication, you will have to, if you want to get the benefits, those benefits of not of fasting, uh, like the person that is going to be fasting with water only, then you will need, you all forgive me, I know I'm not looking at you while I'm talking to you, but what I am doing is trying to put this phone on silence or vibration, whatever. I'm trying to mute it. There we go. So this thing won't be, I don't know why people wait until I go on the live, unless there's something wrong, then you'll have to text me. Marcus, Brandy, and any of the rest of you. If there is anything wrong, you'll have to text me, because I just turned the sound off. So let me see. Let me take a peek. Let me take a peek. All right. So there are just so many different things, corrections that can take place in the body during the fast. But if you're on medication, because we do not tell you not to take your medication, that is not something that we do. We don't tell you to dispense with your medication. We do not tell you not to drink water on a fast. None of that. And so that, but you can get the benefits of same as everyone else. Those that will be water fasting you can get those same benefits um, if you let us know, and we can talk about it. You know, it's something that we can work with, and I most certainly will do during the time of preparation. I will most certainly talk about um, those that are fasting who are on medication. So you don't need to fear. And we're going to make sure, you're going to make sure that your doctor is involved. You're going to talk to your doctor. You're going to tell your doctor what it is that you plan to do. You're going to talk to your doctor about the time that he wants you to take your medication, and so forth and so on. And we'll talk about those things further along as we get closer to the fast or the preparation period. All right, because today, see, I was getting ready to get off on that fasting and what all you need to do if you're on medication. But today is not about fasting, and it is not about what you need to do if you're taking medication. It is about high blood pressure. You're going to be surprised today. Today is going to be a day that is going to amaze you, because most of us that have high blood pressure, those of us who have high blood pressure, and I say us because during this pandemic, I found myself with high blood pressure, and I had to identify what the cause was. In order for me to get rid of it, I had to identify where it was coming from, what practice I had, what proclivity, just means habit, big word, habit. But that's what God told me one morning as I was waking up, and it was during this, while we're going through this pandemic. He said that you all are dying because of your proclivities. Well, that was a word that I was not familiar with, though I had heard it before, and I had to get up and look it up. And when you boil it down to, they have all of these different definitions and all of it, it boils down to habits. It boils down to your bad habits. And so we're going to find out, you're going to find out today. You're going to be very surprised. I promise you, you are going to be very surprised. And so, I don't have my mask over here, but you know the drill. Wear your mask. Wear your mask. People are dying because they won't do a simple thing like wearing a mask. It's not, wearing a mask is not political. Wearing a mask is not religious or non-religious. Doesn't mean you're saved or not saved. Doesn't mean that you're more spiritual. I went to a service I never will forget, and I was a little irritated with myself because I went with a friend who lived in, I think at that time, I think she was still in Texas, and she was coming through, and she invited me to go to this service with her. Wanted me to meet this prophetess. And so I was excited, and I told her, sure, I would go. Didn't say, God, should I go? None of that. I just hopped up and went. And I was in someone else's car, which meant if I decided that I needed to get up and go, I could not get up and went because I was not driving my own car. And I was way out north. Well, some of you all that are in Chicago, this will mean something to you. I live far south. I was way on the other side of Chicago. So I was in a pickle. And I went and we sat on the second row. When I came in, I noticed that there were those that had on masks. I think most of the people that were at the door did not have on masks. And then there were a few sprinkled through the audience. I don't think that's what you call it in church, but you know what I mean. Congregation that had on masks, and we went up and sat on the second row. And this person, this prophet, test. But some people prefer to be called a prophet, um, nondescript, whether you're female or male, and then some ladies prefer to be called prophetess. So whatever that case may be, um, she was calling people up, and she was prophesying to them, and so forth and so on. And I noticed that she was guilting people into uh, wearing a mask. So then she would say things like to them like, uh, I have enough faith not to wear a mask. I know that God is going to keep me, and so forth and so on. And she would just carry on and carry on. And some of them would just take their mask off, or she would take their mask off of them and have them run around the church and such things. And so even the person that I was with, she had them come up, and she I don't know if she took her mask off, if she snatched her mask off, or if she had her take her mask off, something, you know. And so I was just sitting there, and she called everybody around me up there. And I was sitting there looking at her, because I was like, you don't want to be embarrassed, because if you call me up there, I'm not taking my mask off. That I am not doing. And so she never called me. She did talk to me after service, you know, which was fine, and I still had my mask on, because she wanted me to introduce her to our leader, and so make that connect. And so I said, God, I said all of that. Let me get a grip on myself. I said all of that to say that whether you do or do not wear a mask, it has nothing to do with the fact that you are it has nothing to do with your whether you're saved or unsaved. Now, it may have something to do with whether you're fearful or unfearful. Uh, and then if that is the case, then you need to give that fear to God, because the Bible says He has not given us a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. And so that's something you need to give to God. But I will tell you this. And one young lady just told her, you know, she called this young lady up, and so the young lady, she came up, but she kept her 6 feet. And so then when the person that was ministering, she said something about, why are you way back there? You know, come on up here with everybody. And she said, what happened to social distancing? That's what the young lady said. I asked her. She said, what happened to social distancing? And so, and then that's when she went all into, you know, the faith and believing God and so forth and so on. None of this has anything to do, it has nothing to do with politics, and it has nothing to do with religion. And that's one of the reasons why so many people, we've had thousands of people die. It's one of the reasons why we just had a notable person just die. Uh, because of all of this craziness. You wear a mask because of science. This pandemic is not the first time there have been masks worn. Um, I believe it was Japan wore them when they had difficulties. The whole nation. See, the nations that did what was required, they're over this. You know, we're walking around talking about, I'm so over COVID. Well, then follow the rules and the regulations now, or follow the science. That was the wrong phrase, because this is not a rule or a regulation. It is science. And so we, you know, Americans are too proud. We're too proud. We're dying because of pride, and we need to repent. Now, notice I didn't say everyone that died or even got sick was prideful. I said America has the most people dying because of a spirit of pride. Wear your mask. It is a safety measure. It is science. It is not religion or politics. It is science. It will prevent droplets from going in your nose, entering your aerodigestive tract, and infecting you. All right. So then, high blood pressure. And so, of course, we know, I already said social distance, and then we know wash our hands because we were washing our hands before the pandemic. So that is something that we know to do. Uh, okay. I'm going to, my goodness. Let's see. Who did I miss here? Michelle Thomas, thank you for joining us, dear. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to do this one more time. And since I took more time on that than I should have, I'm going to question and answer period. If you have questions, you can start writing them now. Because other than that, I'm going to go through the question and answer period talking about the high blood pressure. Good morning, Marlene Branch. Good morning, Elaine Moore. God bless you all. Thank you for being here. Janice Pritchard, thank you. Afternoon to you, dear. And Brandy, hey sugar. And let's see. Viola Wiley, thank you so much for joining. Thank you. God bless you today. And okay, thank you, Miss Wiley. Wear your mask. Simple, absolutely, and well put. All right, now high blood pressure. I want you all, even though I'm not gonna look at it until the live is over, but I want to see how many of you have high blood pressure, how many of you are married to mates with high blood pressure, so forth and so on, someone that you're concerned about, so that I'll know, because I had a couple of you, several of you asked about high blood pressure, and that's why I'm deviating today. So then, how many of you are not asleep? Now, the word here is sleep. Active word is sleep. How many of you are not asleep between the hours of 11 and 2? So then, in other words, at 11 o'clock, you're up on the computer, you're on your phone, you're watching a movie, carrying on a conversation on Facebook at 11 o'clock instead of being sound asleep. How many of you don't drink enough water? You just don't like water, or you don't actually know, you think you drink a lot of water, but you don't actually know how much water you drink. So then you don't know if you drink 20 ounces a day or if you drink 80 or 90 ounces a day. You just think you drink a lot of water. How many of you eat meat or starch? Meat, starch, or sugar. That's what I'm trying to say. Meat with a starch which will turn to sugar. You know, like spaghetti and meatballs, spaghetti and meat sauce, rice and pork chops, grits and whatever kind of sausage. Grits and sausage, any of those things, any of the starches with a meat product, or even sugar with meat. And so I'm gonna give you 1 minute, 1 minute to think about that, because this might not have been something that you ever thought about before. Sleep apnea causes high blood pressure. Now, when we think of sleep apnea, we think of something big. But what we're talking about here is the lack of sleep, the lack of rest, the lack of sleep and rest during the healing cycle. Now, we've talked about this before, but but this is one of the things that causes high blood pressure. I'm going to let that soak in just a minute. Because some of you have high blood pressure and you can't get it down. And the doctors told you you're going to have to live on high blood pressure medication for the rest of your life. And some of you, even with taking high blood pressure medication, your numbers are 130 over 90 over 100. Your numbers are 140 over 80, 90, all of that kind of thing, and that is too high. It is much too high. And not only is it too high, it is too high, and especially if you're on medication. Because if you're on medication and your blood pressure is still too high, then there is something else that you need to do, because there is some cat in that dog. Something is wrong. And so then, and we have another thing that causes high blood pressure, and that's A.G.E. Well, A.G.E. is cellular aging. It is cellular aging, and then there is non-enzymatic glycation, or stiffening of the collagen that's in the blood vessel walls. All right, so then, remember I asked you that question about if you eat meat and sugar or meat and starches together. Keep that in mind when we talk about the non-enzymatic glycation. Sleep deprivation. Sleep, the healing of the body takes place between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. And those are hours that you need to be sound asleep, not getting ready to go asleep. And so then, when you don't quite hit that mark, when you wake up in the morning, you're sluggish, you may have a dull headache, you may be foggy in the brain, you don't quite feel right, you have stiffness trying to get out of the bed, you may even have lower back pain. All of that is because you will not sleep during those hours now. So you say, well, I made it to bed at 11:30. The cycle starts at 11, and you have to be sound asleep. You have to be in that last REM stage in order for the healing cycle to begin. If you are not, your body will miss its healing cycle that night. And your blood pressure will not be regulated, and it will not be reset. And the next thing that can cause you to have high blood pressure is dehydration. So then you drink 100 ounces of water a day. Could be good. It could be good if you weigh 200 pounds. But if you weigh 300 pounds, or if you weigh 250 pounds, 270 pounds, that is not good. And you will be dehydrated. And dehydration causes high blood pressure. And dehydration will cause you to think you need, I'm going to use that term, to think you need all of these over-the-counter meds, pain meds, such as Tylenol, aspirins, and all of these kinds of things because of that low-grade headache, or even that migraine headache. That migraine headache that you're having, it could be from dehydration. Why? Because the brain shrinks. The brain shrinks from dehydration, and it pulls away from the skeletal. It pulls away from So we got the brain, and then we've got the bony structure that the brain sits in. Well, the brain cells will pull, as they shrink, they pull away from that skeletal protective barrier shield that it has, and that causes pain. It causes pain. And dehydration causes high blood pressure. It causes high blood pressure, or not drinking water. Pop does not qualify as water. Coffee does not qualify as water. And juice that you buy in the store does not qualify as water. Water is H2O. It is H2O. It is not HO2. It is not 2HO. It is H2O. And anything other than that does not qualify as water, and it will not hydrate you. And so then why does dehydration cause high blood pressure? Because your blood is about 80% water, and if you are not drinking enough water, then your blood will thicken. It's as simple as that. Your blood will thicken because it doesn't have enough water, and the thicker the blood gets, the harder the heart has to work to pump that thick blood through your blood vessels. And so, you all have heard me. I often use the example of the ketchup in that bottle, and I don't think it's any of us that's older than teenage that has not ever tried to get ketchup out of a bottle and had to beat the bottom of that bottle to get it out, to get the ketchup out of that bottle. Well, that is your heart. That's your heart, and that is your heart pounding. That is the force of that pounding on your blood vessels, and that is causing that high blood pressure, that pressure to go higher and higher and higher. And so then dehydration would be one of those causes of high blood pressure. And then we kind of danced around the glycation. We danced around that glycation that causes a stiffening in the collagen of the blood vessel walls. Now, that to push that blood throughout all of this body, from head to toe, lungs, and then out to the extremities and all of that, the blood vessels must be involved. They have to be involved. And so then, I just said about that dehydration, that blood courses through those veins, and it is the force of that blood that will weaken the blood vessels. And so then that non-enzymatic glycation, it causes those blood vessels that have to react to that force of that blood rushing through them, because if you have high blood pressure, then the blood rushes through. You're not supposed to even be able to recognize that the blood is flowing through your body. It's one of those things that you shouldn't even that you should not even recognize. But you will recognize it if your blood vessels have stiffened, and if you're not drinking enough water, and that blood, the force of that blood against those blood vessels is causing a problem. You will hear them. You will hear that those blood vessels being I want to use the word attacked, but for a lack of a better word, you were pounding. That's the word. You will hear that blood as it pounds against those blood vessels that have stiffened. that have been stiffened because of that non-enzymatic glycation. Um, and so that blood pressure, it will get higher and higher and higher. And so collagen is the what is the word that I'm looking for? Because in some instance you can use the word glue, but that is not the word you want to use right now. But collagen, all of the connective tissues, all of the connective tissues are, most of the material that the connective tissues is made of is collagen. And so then that collagen, if it is being stiffened by that glycation, then you're going to have that high blood pressure. Now, glycation happens. Remember when I asked you before, if you eat meat with starches, if you eat meat with sugar, if you do, then you're going to have glycation because there are no enzymes present. And that's where the phrase non-enzymatic comes in. It is non-enzymatic glycation. Glycation caused because there are no enzymes present to finish the process that has started. And because the process cannot be finished, then the vessels, they stiffen and they harden. Because enzymes carry out the 7,000 processes that take place in your physical body every day. And if those enzymes are not present to carry out that process, then that's where all of the disruptions of the systems, organs, tissues, cells, organelles take place in the body. And we call those disruptions, we call those alterations, we call them sickness and disease. And so then, no, you should not run out and buy collagen. No, you should not. Most collagen is comes from animals. And collagen from animals, it has already been used by the animals. It has already been used for their blood vessels and their connective tissues. And so now you're taking a foreign matter and putting it in your body that does not have your DNA, and that foreign matter is going to have to be attacked by your immune system. See, that's what auto disease is. Autoimmune disease is your immune system attacking something that should not be in your body. And so then, and yes, it's attacking your cells, your tissues, and your organs, because that does not have your DNA and that should not be in your body, you have ingested it and you have inserted it, you have ingested it, injected it, and rubbed it on, whatever the case may be. It has gotten into that body, into that bloodstream, and into tissue, cells, and organs. Whatever tissue, cells, and organs it has been deposited in, then the immune system is going to have to attack that tissue, cell, and organ in an attempt to get to that entity that does not have your DNA. And so then we all know where we get those enzymes from. We only get them from raw foods. We only get them from the garden. But since we don't eat things that come from the garden, we eat things that come out of the frozen food section, and we eat things that come out of the can, and we call that adding vegetables to our dinner. We have no enzymes. And so, because we have no enzymes, and those blood vessels, they stiffen, then we end up with high blood pressure. And so then another A.G.E. I think A.G.E. is probably something that everyone has heard. You know, it's afraid. They always talk about AGE. They talk about AGE and skin when they're talking about skincare products and all of that kind of thing. Well, AGE is, I'm not going to give you the long phrase because I'm going to mispronounce it. So we'll just leave it at AGE. And what it means is cellular aging. And as the cells age, they cannot function as they should. They cannot assimilate the blood flow through the body as it should because the cells are aging and they are cracking and they are breaking. And you are aging. You begin to age. You look older. You're 40, but you look 50. You're 15, but you look 35. And so that AGE, it causes cellular aging. Cellular aging causes high blood pressure. And so I know that these are things that you hadn't even thought about, but every time you eat that that sandwich, that meat and bread, then you're going to have non-enzymatic glycation because that bread is going to turn to sugar. And that sugar, eaten with that meat, there are no enzymes there. And so it is going to cause that stiffening of the blood vessels. Every time you eat that rice, that white rice, with that pork chop or with whatever kind of thing, every time you eat that hot dog on that bun, every time you eat that hamburger, and I don't know, they really have us duped. We're eating hamburgers with bacon on it, with cheese on it, with all kind of, several different kind of meats and things on it. And it is what we are paying for, a heart attack or a stroke. That's what we're doing. We're paying for a heart attack or a stroke. And so then these are the things that help to cause your high blood pressure. If most of your meals, and I look at these plates on Facebook, and they're nothing but starches. They're nothing but starch and meat. And all we think we are just, doing wonderful. But what we're doing is we're creating high blood pressure. See, can't get rid of high blood pressure if everything you're eating is starch and meat. You cannot, because you're causing cellular aging along with non-enzymatic glycation. And then on top of that, we drink coffee instead of water. So high cholesterol is another thing that causes high blood pressure. So we love sugar, raises the cholesterol. And everything that I just talked about is high cholesterol. And so then we can't do anything but have high blood pressure. And the medication that they give us does nothing for our high blood pressure. It may keep it from going to critical mass, but let me tell you, and thank you, Holy Spirit, because I forgot to say this. Anything over 120/80 causes the heart to enlarge, which is one of the reasons why people that have high blood pressure for a period of time and diabetes, they have to have some type of heart surgery. They have to have some type of heart surgery because of this condition and that particular process. So we are now at 11:47. We've gone through questions. As I told you, I was going to go through that question and answer period. I'm going to run down and see if there are any questions. And I'm going to be, your husband has high blood pressure. All right, then you need to, Michelle Thomas, you need to absolutely go through his diet and make changes. And then talk to him, because Our men are very stubborn and they're very set in their ways because they have eaten a certain way for a very long time. So then your question has to be, do you want to live on medication the rest of your life and then die early? Because uh, the medication, the high blood pressure medication, one of the side effects is diabetes. And so then you need to have a heart-to-heart talk with him. You need to have a heart-to-heart talk with him. And I would suggest to you, now this is for you all that are listening, I'm going to say this to you. I'm going to say this word, these two words, life insurance. You need to make sure that you and your family, that you have life insurance. You need to make sure that you have, we're not talking about burial insurance. Life insurance today, if you get sick, if you have to be bedridden, if there are 2 or 3 um, everyday life measures that you have to carry out to live, and you can't do them anymore, then your life insurance, if you have the proper type of life insurance, they will send you a monthly check. They will send you a monthly check. They will not ask you what you're spending it on. That monthly check can pay for, it can substitute for your lost salary or your husband's lost salary, because it can pay your mortgage, it can pay your car note, it can pay your rent if you're not paying mortgage, it can buy that food, it can keep you and it can keep you in the place where you were in before you or your spouse had a life-threatening incident. And so everyone needs to have life insurance. Everyone. And life insurance now has living benefits. It has other benefits that will help you to continue to live. What do you do if someone has to go into a facility, a rehab facility, or whatever the case may be, that costs somewhere like $3,000 a week or $3,000 a month? It depends upon the facility and what services you're getting. Well, if you have the proper life insurance, it will pay for that facility in that check. In that check that you get on a monthly, So, if you, let me see, I'm looking at Mr. Marcus Hill here. My live feed keeps getting interrupted. Now, this is just crazy. You all, if it's getting interrupted, when we stop, when it's over, then what you need to do. Hey, Apostle. Hello, my Apostle. Hello, Miss Branch. Hey, Marcus. You all, if it keeps going in and going out, whatever, breaking, whatever it's doing, when you go back to the replay, listen to the replay, and then that replay, it will not be skipping and all of that. So do that for me, because I don't want you to miss anything. Now, if you don't have life insurance, then, and this is not a sales pitch, this is a protection pitch. We are living with COVID. They're saying now we're all enamored and everything because this is supposed to be milder. It is not milder. The symptoms are milder. But what is worse is the fact that the long haul disease caused by these milder symptoms is neurological damage. And so then if you have a long haul disease and you have the proper protection in your insurance, you can get a check to protect your family while you are recovering and trying to get well. So I'm going to say to you, if you need someone to take a look at your insurance, If you need someone to take a look at it to see if it is proper, that and it will protect you and your family. If you have difficulty, then reach out to Marcus Trussell here. Oh my goodness. To Sir Marcus Trussell Hill. Just hit him up, send him a reach out to him in his, what is that thing called? That messenger, in that messenger. So, okay, our time is up, way, way, way up. I thank you all for joining me. You all have been a blessing. And I don't know what we're going to talk about on Friday, but it's going to be good. And if you all have any questions and anything in particular that you want to talk about Friday, get it out now, because in just a little while we're going to be doing this. We're going to be talking about preparation for the fast, and I'm going to try to give you as much as I can give you about what it can heal. And then if you have some conditions and you want to know if the fast will affect it, you can put that down there in the comment section. I'll come back, I'll take a look at it, and then we can address it on Friday. Blessings to everyone. I love you, I appreciate you, and have a wonderful and awesome week. I'm pushing that red button.